Good day, I'm Boyce Lancaster, and normally I would be talking with these two gentlemen in front of the stage at the Southern Theater, but we're calling this Coda at-home conversations. So we're going to be talking not just with David and Vadim, we'll have conversations with other members of ProMusica Chamber Orchestra over the course of the next several weeks. Gentlemen, thanks for taking time out of your, I'm sure, busy schedules right now. Vadim, you're teaching, right?
I have been teaching quite a bit using kind of the same programs. I've tried, I think, them all by now. And I've been busy with my usual habit, that is playing violin.
And David, I mean, Vadim has been teaching online and things such as that. What does a conductor do to stay engaged with people in a time like this?
Well, interestingly, first of all, I'm learning scores because that's just what I'm doing. It's just part of my life, what I'm doing. So I prepare scores. Then I talk a lot with Janet. You know, we are on a lot of calls because there is, of course, a lot to do. Preparation for next season, we had to change some things in next season, and that we have wrapped up. Talking with board committees, board members. I made a own video of myself, kind of like, you know, a funny video for our supporters. I'm starting to have Zoom calls with, you know, some of our close inner circle of supporters, and you take it from there. I think it's very important to be very active and not to, you know, not to kind of like just withdraw and be like, well, I can't conduct at the moment, so I'm not going to do anything, but to actually continue really being a director.
And it would be really easy just to sit around and do nothing, binge watch television shows, drink good tequila or bourbon, and listen to recordings that you've made in the past. But Vadim, you said, I saw your really wonderful recital with Angela on the Violin Channel not too long ago. Have you done more than one of those?
This was our first experience. We did two so far. We did one for the Violin Channel and one for a German magazine, Concerti. Mm-hmm. It's very strange feeling playing into this.
Yes.
But then you look at the results, and for example, the Violin Channel's audience at the for our performance was almost 50,000 viewers.
Wow.
Like a stadium.
It's quite incredible, of course. At the same time, of course, it never will. I can't imagine that it can substitute for a live performance, for a true exchange between performer on stage and the audience.
Well, more than one musician has told me that the furthest gap, the longest distance to bridge, is that little distance between the front of the stage and the people in the auditorium. And yet now here we are bridging gaps all over the community, all over the country, all over the world. How does it change the performance for you without that feedback, the visceral experience of having an audience listening?
Well, I know that they are listening, so that psychologically, I know that there are people there, and on the performance that we did for Violin Channel, for example, our daughter was standing behind the iPhone and was watching that everything was functioning, because we weren't sure how it will all go, and she was signing to us that there are many people already listening live. So it was clear that it is there, but still, it's not really two-way street. So one has to, I guess, imagine in a way the people in front of you, and I wonder what it feels like when one is listening in comparison to live concert. I have tried to listen to a few of my colleagues, enjoyed it tremendously, but there is more of a personal connection. So I was sitting in my office or in my bedroom cheering for my friend playing well. That was of course wonderful. But I can see it on an example of our festival here in Chicago, the North Shore Chamber Music Festival. People are calling us me and my wife Angela, they call constantly asking, "Are you guys still open? Is the festival is going to take place?" They're thanking us for the performances, but they all say how much they're missing the real thing, so to speak.
Well, and this is the thing, and David can respond to this as well. There is so much that goes on behind the scenes to make what they see for the 3 or 4 days of the festival and the 2 concerts on a weekend. To make that happen, you're studying scores right now. You're in touch with the board and with Janet, but you're planning another season. So I guess, David, the question when it comes to behind the scenes is, how are you able and what are you doing to stay in touch with the musicians and to keep them connected in some way, even though none of us is together?
Well, I mean, ProMusica is in that way completely special because every one of our musicians has a chair sponsor, a supporter who underwrites the chair, which is, as far as I know, completely unique in the whole world. But it's also among each other, musicians have a big friendship. I'm, in regular touch with some of my musicians. Mark Moskowitz, for example, our principal cellist, writes a book about the metronome at the moment. So he asks me for German translations and for my kind of help with the kind of all the documents. We have Zoom meetings with the musicians. We are going to record something together, that we have figured out how to do this. So we're in the process of that, which I, of course, am helping as well because, there is technical things involved. I'm in touch with our recording engineer. So we communicate, we write to each other, and, we look out for each other. I think all of our musicians know that they are that they are among friends and that, we care for them, that it's not like anybody for us. We always said as ProMusica, we play among friends, and also in a difficult time like this, that stays upright. We are still connected as friends. That doesn't change.
Well, one of the things ProMusica is doing as well right now is starting May, I think it's May 3rd, the first Sunday in May, people are going to have a chance to hear your season from last year again in an encore presentation. So they'll have a chance to hear you play with them, Vadim, and to hear the wonderful guest artists you had last season with ProMusica. So we'll remind them that starting May 3rd, each Sunday for 8 consecutive Sundays at 1 o'clock, ProMusica Chamber Orchestra broadcast will be on. And Vadim, you have, along with the performances at the North Shore Chamber Music Festival, so many youngsters through the Betty Haig Academy. That are those some of the ones you're working with on a regular basis by video?
Yes, they are exactly the victims of our online teaching right now. They're tremendously talented kids, as you remember, and they do need support. They do need encouragement, even more than support. They need encouragement that what they like to do, and in their case, it's playing violin and making music, means something, and it is necessary. And I think the more we are isolated physically, in a way, it might be the silver lining of all this process, that we are becoming more and more connected. Truly.
Yeah. I want just to interject very quickly. I completely agree with Vadim. I think there is something we can learn, hopefully, from this situation, and that is that a live connection, be it live music or being together with people, cannot be replaced. And it will never be replaced by any kind of technology, I guess. So basically, listening to a CD is not the same as going live to a concert. And I think people, it's really something that we feel at this point, is that, for example, I Skype with my family and with my friends, but it's not the same like exactly being in the same room with them, right? And it's the same with music. We can listen to recordings, and that's why we do our broadcast, which is very nice because we have very good quality recordings from last season. But it's not the same as actually going to a classical concert and being there live. And I think that's something that becomes very obvious in this situation, that actually a real physical life experience. It's something that's incredibly special.
And we need to give them today maybe even more attention than before this pandemic broke up. For example, in our performance for the violin channel, we try to raise money for the Academy Scholarship Fund that we have established. There are so many kids now whose parents lost their jobs, and of course, sadly, the what we call luxury elements of our life, in this case, violin lesson, music lesson, maybe the one that will have to be forgotten in favor of putting food on the table. And every parent has to do this decision, and it's very difficult. So to help kids like this, we've raised a bit of money, and we already send checks to kids who cannot afford their daily, weekly music lessons. We have already done that. I think they are looking for not only for information how to move their hands with the violin, but they're looking for encouragement from our side. As I said, that what they do is meaningful, and just the same way like we look for the same encouragement.
Yes. Well, it's interesting we went into this particular conversation because that was exactly what I was going to ask as we began to wrap this up. Are you finding silver linings in this? And obviously you are. And for me, I think what I found is that I didn't realize it's easy to get caught up in just okay, we've got a couple of concerts this weekend, we're going to do a Coda, we're going to see some people, to realize that when that's all gone, exactly how much you really had and how much you miss it. So hopefully ProMusica and these youngsters and your performances and everything, it comes back even stronger than it was beforehand, because now we realize how much it means to each and every one of us. Gentlemen, I thank you for your time. I wish you well through all of this, and we'll connect again soon.
Thank you so much, Boyce.
Thank you.
Wonderful.